Hello and welcome. It is a Friday, and this time here we're going to analyze the market, talk about trends and investment, and how global development will be impacting your business activities here in Ghana. And if you're in Nigeria, South Africa, yes, also affected. On the program today, unionized workers of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority suspend their planned strike this morning. And tax consultant Ali Abdullah Nachia charges businesses in the country to constantly update themselves of the country's tax laws. All these and more here on the marketplace. Stay interactive with us on Twitter. Our handle is Joy Business GH, and on Facebook is Joy Business. For more business stories, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is John Kojo Amwako. Marketplace returns after the break. You're welcome back. And in our first story, businesses that depend heavily on domestic flights for their operations are assured of not encountering any challenges today. This is because unionized workers of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority have suspended their planned strike this morning. This was after government decided to release lands at Lankwantanan in the Medina belonging to the authority for installations of flight safety equipment. The action would have resulted in the grounding of all domestic flights and caused serious revenue losses for operators of most domestic carriers. Theophilus Ago is the acting president of the Air Traffic Controllers Association.
We are moving right away as I'm talking to you. So, see is believing. We are moving to the site to start with everything. We're ready to do whatever we want to do as we speak. So, if the one in charge says, look, you've been calling for this, so come, let's go there and take what you have. We need to listen.
How critical is this equipment to your operations that you were bent on going on an indefinite strike?
This equipment is time-bound manufacturing equipment. First, when we talk about this high-frequency equipment, it's being manufactured for a specific period of time. For instance, 10 years, you need to replace it. As it stands, that equipment is about 50.
But help me, what does that equipment actually do?
This equipment basically is used for communication, like Joy FM using VHF. You know, VHF is short, but the HF that we use is just like the SW frequencies that we have on our radios. You know, you can sit in a car and get BBC on SW from UK, but you cannot get BBC on VHF in a car from UK.
And the IMF has indicated that its board is likely to meet from October this year to review Ghana's performance under the program so far. This was contained in a response to an email sent to the IMF in Washington, D.C. There is more in this Business Desk report.
The IMF, in an email sent to Joy Business, says it reached a general agreement with authorities when it visited Ghana in May that it can only complete the review when the main elements and targets under the program are met. It also maintained that although government has made progress in areas such as passing the new Public Financial Management Law, amendment of the Bank of Ghana Act, and strategies to address the rising debts of state-owned enterprises, it can only make the necessary presentations to the board for review when work has been completed in all the critical targets set under the program. The IMF in the email adds that its board could meet from September this year to consider Ghana's performance. This means that the third tranche of $116 million could now hit Bank of Ghana's account in the last quarter of this year. Some analysts have argued that delays in reviewing Ghana's performance under a fund program could have some serious implications on the economy.
Tax consultant Ali Abdullah Nachia has charged businesses in the country to constantly update themselves of the country's tax laws. This, according to him, is the only way for them to be able to take full advantage of the numerous reliefs provided by the laws governing payment of taxes in the country. Some businesses, including foreign ones, have in recent past witnessed lockdowns and subsequently attracted penalties imposed on them by the revenue collection agencies for non-compliance. Speaking at an Indian business seminar organized by the Universal Merchant Bank, UMB, Mr. Nachia said critically examining the provisions of the country's laws, tax laws, could help businesses escape avoidable taxes.
how can businesses be well versed with the taxes that face them and prepare themselves to comply. The best way of honoring your taxes is to be very compliant, because if you make delayed payments, it comes with penalties. If you infringe on any provisions of the law, it comes with penalties. If you delay payment, there will be interest charges. These are costs that you can't recover because they will not be allowed as business expenses. So the idea of conquering the landscape for tax in Ghana is to ensure that you understand the tax law, you know where to look for what, and be able to comply so that you don't fall foul of the law. That's the essence, because the bottom line of every taxpayer is to pay not more than he is required to pay, and in the same vein, the revenue is also trying to collect whatever single peso that should be taken from you. So at the end of the day, there should be a meeting point, because if you comply with the law, you end up paying what you are supposed to pay, and the revenue will get what it's supposed to get.
If you can speak up just a little bit for me so we can capture it fully. So how do you conquer it?
Conquering the tax landscape in Ghana is trying to understand what is in the tax law. Also trying to be able to interpret the provisions of the tax law, because tax is virtually law, because these are legal provisions in an act that you need to obey. If you fall foul of it, you are going to suffer penalties and interest. So the idea is that you can be able to conquer the tax landscape if you really understand and know what is in the tax law for you, in terms of benefits, in terms of timelines, in terms of payment obligations, and then you'll be able to keep your head above water.
The planning, for instance, how can one plan it? And then after reading the laws and understanding it, how does one plan and, be able to, conquer it?
There is a saying that there are only two things that are sure in this world: death and taxes. The closeness is because of the certainty. It's certain that everybody will die, and so it is certain that everybody will pay tax at one point in time or the other. There's also the saying that with taxation you can run, but you cannot hide. Because no matter how you arrange your affairs, one tax or the other will be staring you in the face. So if you want to plan your tax, it means that you have anticipated it. Once you decide to rent your property out, remember there is rent tax. So it is up to you to find out, am I giving it for residential purposes? Then the rate is 8%. If it is for commercial purposes, it's 15%. So you anticipate what is in store for you and prepare to meet it. If you buy assets to invest in your business, you should know that there are capital allowances you can claim. And so why wouldn't you be able to calculate that? You should. If you go and borrow to run your business, you know you have to pay interest. Now, in paying the interest, there are taxes that you have to withhold on the interest. The question is, did you do that? Because if you don't do that and there is a tax audit, it will be surcharged on you. And that is the essence of trying to plan. You can always anticipate the tax that you are going to face depending on the activity you are engaged in, depending on the transaction you engage yourself in. And so anticipating taxes is not a difficult thing. If you employ people to work for you, is there no anticipation that you pay salaries? If you pay salaries, did you know that you have to withhold taxes on the employee salary and pay to government? So these are things you can say.
Meanwhile, the chief executive of UMB, John Ewuo, said the bank deems it a responsibility to help its customers comply with the country's tax laws in order to sustain their businesses.
Our prerogative has been to be in the front row, trying to understand the needs of our various business and entities and our customer base, and even those who are not our customers. So we are doing this to showcase UMB and also to let the business community know about our laws in the country. Taxes are important for the country, and there are new tax laws, and we want to use the opportunity to also educate our customers and potential customers on what they can and cannot do according to the tax laws. Taxes are important, and I'm very, very excited about the current session that we have had and the kind of input and the advice that has been given to the business people. Sometimes we flout the laws without knowing, and I've received some very positive feedback from some of the people that I've interacted with since the presentation on the conquering the taxation landscape. So we are very happy to address the concerns of the various categories of customers that we have, and it's important that as a banker we are a partner, we are not just a bank, and we try to meet the needs of our customers in several ways. One of it, the ways that in which we try to meet the needs of our customers, to educate them on emerging trends. And when the new thing comes to town, you should ask yourself, are you compliant? And to what extent are we sure that our customers are also compliant? We are. I want our customers to continue to be in business, and therefore they also have to remain compliant. And for that reason, we believe that this workshop would meet the, I would say, the agenda or the full objective of the reason why we set out to meet the Indian business community.
Financial and economic journalists are being encouraged to have a better understanding of issues they report in order to communicate effectively. Speaking to Joy Business at the launch of the 2016 iFetch Flamingo Awards, President of the Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists, Lloyd Evans, advised media houses to organize training programs for their business journalists to enable them communicate well in simple language.
Is it because we don't understand? So whatever we take, we just download it to the public. But we ourselves have to understand it. So that is why we at the Institute, we do a lot of training programs. We break things down to the minutest level that you yourself, you understand and appreciate. Then if you understand, then when you are translating it, you can do it much better. But if you don't understand, you pick it from the book or from the speech, and then you just give it out without you yourself not understanding. But we want you yourself to understand, and you must make it a point that, look, you take interest in reading more, talking to more people, getting better explanation, and then in your writing, it will reflect there. So that is what we have to do. We have to understand the issues at stake first, then we can, translate it to the other, give it out to other people. If the managers don't take interest, your news editors, your editors, your sub-editors, they don't take interest in training the journalists, you'll be doing the same thing, and obviously it's wrong. But if they take interest in ensuring that their staff or their reporters undergo these trainings, the difficulties will be the thing of the past. So media managers must take interest in that area and help train their reporters.
The Public Utilities Workers Union says it is still against moves by government to privatize the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. Policy think tanks like the Center for Economic and Business Research recently made a case for the country's power distributor to be completely privatized, saying it is the only way the company's fortunes could be improved substantially. But the union, which represents workers of the various public utility agencies, insists going this way would hurt the economy, given that government-owned interferences is to be blamed for the company's woes. Michael Encheti is the Deputy General Secretary for the Public Utilities Workers Union.
For now, take ECG, where government is the sole ownership. Government invests a lot into the system by ways of loans and grants from various development partners. In a sense, these are not critically factored into the energy cost that we are paying. But if a private investor is coming who is bringing his money and wants to be looking at return on investment, yes, somebody will have to pay for this investment the private sector is coming in. So there are going to be definitely additional factors going into the tariffs, which will automatically affect the cost of power we are going to pay. And the examples are there. Concession has been in Uganda for a while, and the people are crying over the high tariffs they are paying. And we strongly believe that the tariff, which is going to be so high, will make it difficult for many Ghanaians. There is also the possibility, we've always been harping on this, that a private man or private business investor who is looking at profit as the core motive for coming into this venture will always make sure that he will not go into ventures that are not economically viable. So the likelihood of the rural areas being neglected is going to be another key challenge on our hand. When you are developing a country, you cannot only look at it only from the point of view of economics. There are social interventions which are also the responsibility of the state. So if you only want to measure everything from economic perspective, then we will sacrifice the social interventions, and that will also...
We're taking a short break. Marketplace returns after this. And you're welcome back. And prices of some vegetables and other commodities have recorded gains in some markets in the country. Let's now take an update of some commodity data provided by Agriculture Information and Communication Services Company, Isoko, Ghana.
This week on the food commodity market, the price for a bag of maize made gains in 3 markets. A 100-kilogram bag of maize sold 490 Ghana cedis in Accra, representing a gain of 6% over that of the previous week of 180 Ghana cedis. In Kumasi, the commodity gained 3% to close the week at 180 Ghana cedis from a previous price of 175 Ghana cedis. Takoradi gained 5% to close the week at 220 Ghana cedis from last week's 210 Ghana cedis. On the retail market, a kilo of maize gained 11% in Accra to close the week at 2 Ghana cedis from a previous price of 1 Ghana cedi 80 pesos, while in other markets, the price remained the same. A crate of tomatoes lost in some markets and gained in only one market this week. The highest loss of 45% was made in Techiman. A crate of tomatoes was sold for 220 Ghana cedis from last week's price of 400 Ghana cedis. Kumasi followed with a loss of 30% to close the week at 223 Ghana cedis from the previous price of 320 Ghana cedis, with Accra also losing 20% to close the week at 400 Ghana cedis. In Tamale Market, a crate of tomatoes gained 3% to close the week at 250 Ghana cedis from a previous value of 243 Ghana cedis. On the retail market, a kilo of tomatoes lost 36% in Techiman to close the week at 3 Ghana cedis 40 pesos, with Takoradi also dropping 10% to close at 12 Ghana cedis 50 pesos, and also with Accra and Kumasi losing 28 and 18% to close the week at 5 cedis 10 pesos and 5 cedis 90 pesos respectively. In the other markets, the prices remained the same.
There is a perception that some crops like banana, butternut, squash, and cocoa, among others, cannot be cultivated in the northern part of the country. This has, however, been disproven by a lecturer of the University for Development Studies School of Medical Science, Professor Juventus Ziem, who has made a big business not only from the sale of the produce locally, but export for over 4 years now. Our Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam joined the Food and Agriculture Minister Mohamed Muniru Lamuna on a tour of his banana farm and reports.
39-year-old Professor Juventus Ziem is a lecturer at the University for Development Studies School of Medical Science, but he loves farming.
God created the earth and gave it to man. Those people with power, who have the money, would dig deep to the core of the earth and decide to get fuel out of it or minerals. But those of us who do not have that power, we just play at the surface, and we can also make it.
He owns this 15-acre banana farm located close to the Black Volta at Kokolugu in the Nandom district. Kokolugu is one of 22 communities that are settled along the Volta Basin. He spoke about how he got into farming banana on this field for the past 4 years.
We went to the river there at nearby Ivory Coast. And then when I crossed, I saw that they were growing cocoa there. So I decided that I will also do cocoa in the north, since that part of Ivory Coast is also north.
Okay.
So I came home to prepare the land for cocoa. And I found my friend somewhere, it's Robert, who is an expert in banana. And then he asked me, why are you doing cocoa here? And I told him that, well, I wanted to prove that cocoa could do in the north. He said, oh, but that is known. Cocoa can grow anywhere, provided you have water. Yes. But if you are doing cocoa, you must also add some economic value to it. And then I asked him, well, so what do you want me to do? He said, well, I will teach you how to do banana. And that's how I came into banana. So I went to his farm, look at what he was doing, and we came and started it here.
Since he started the cultivation of banana on this field, 3 other people have also joined him. Professor Ziem said it is on the wish list of many people to join them, but it is always difficult to get a startup capital.
The way we are doing is that we have to buy pumps. Thank God that when Roy was the head of the Northern Rural Group, he pushed that a lot. He gave us 3 pumps to start with. And then I joined I met the regional director, and he supplied us with some inputs. Some of the pipes came from his office. And that's how we're able to start up. But if you have to start afresh, you need diesel, a lot of diesel to do. So it's a big constraint. With a 15-acre farm, we're using 1 drum of diesel per 3 weeks.
He is not only excited about the money he's been getting from the sale of the banana, but able to prove that banana could be grown in the northern belt of the country. Every 2 weeks, he is able to pocket an amount of 8,000 Ghana cedis from the sale of the banana.
You see banana being sold here, as if it's in the southern part of Ghana.
Yeah.
So in Wa, we sent some of the bananas there. And our important source is that Burkinabe buyers from Ouagadougou are coming here to the farm.
Correct.
So all the youth, everybody, this is free gift. You don't need donation, you don't need anybody, foreign aid to play around the gift that God has given us.
Food and Agriculture Minister Mohamed Muniru Limuna, as part of his 3-day official working visit to the region, took a tour of the farm and was impressed about what he saw.
One thing that impressed me most is that we have the belief that the moment you are educated, you don't do farming. And we've come to see a medicine professor who is in farming. So this goes to tell the youth that if you are educated doesn't mean you have nothing to do with farming. That's one point. People always believe that crops of this nature, like banana, can only be possible in the southern part of this country. But we are witnesses to this today, that we've seen banana growing very well in Upper West region, not even in Northern region. Upper West region, far away from Nandom, to be able to make 8,000 Ghana cedis in every 2 weeks. I don't think there's any job that you can make such money from. Even I doubt whether in his professorial work he makes 8,000 every 2 weeks. So that tells you that there's hope in agriculture.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Kokoligu.
Rafik Salam from Kokoligu there with that wonderful report with Professor Juventus Ziem there. That brings us to the end of today's edition of the Marketplace. But you can still stay interactive with us. Our Twitter handle is Joy Business GH, and on Facebook we are located Joy Business simply. For more, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a wonderful weekend.